So we know the major story hit the internet um, 4 days ago, 4 or 5 days, 3 or 4 days ago at this point. And Charlie Kirk was shot and killed at college in Utah. And
It's
he was doing
crazy.
what he normally does, going around and talking and having conversations with people. And someone, a sniper on the roof, went and took him out in the middle of a question that he was asking. So I think this video would summarize the situation.
We're going to end today's show by paying tribute to Charlie, letting him tell his story in his own words. Charlie's story had many chapters, shaped by faith and his belief in Christian values. And those values were something he often discussed.
The Declaration only refers to God 4 times in the Constitution. It doesn't refer to God at all. And it only articulates the structure of government. Is common law Christian in nature, or is it not?
Remember that we were a collection of states and colonies, and you need to read the state constitutions before anything else. In almost every single one of the original state constitutions, Pennsylvania included, they had, I profess Lord and Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior in the original state constitution. Common law is an outgrowth of the scriptures. So let's go to 3 principles of common law: due process and jury of your peers, wrapped into the ultimate biblical principle that you shall not favor justice if you are rich or poor, which is the idea of blind justice. We get that in the West, which is incorporated also in the New Testament ideal: neither slave nor Greek nor Jew, you're all one in Jesus Christ, which we get the idea of human equality. These are all biblical ideas. They're not Enlightenment ideas, which is they kind of get conflated at the time. But more importantly than that, they say that God was only mentioned 4 times in the Declaration of Independence. Well, that's a big deal.
From faith to family, a couple of months ago on Fox and Friends Weekend, he talked about the tough love he and his wife sometimes needed to dish out.
Charlie, how old are the kids?
About to be 3 and 1 years old.
Okay.
So we're right in the thick of it. For our daughter, she sometimes screams for a screen. No, actually, you don't get the screen. And shout out to my wife. She's so good at this. Oh, you don't want to eat dinner? Fine. You'll have breakfast and you'll have something next morning.
Protecting the family unit was also something Charlie believed was a top priority for America.
How are you? What a beautiful kid that is.
Thank you.
What a gift from God.
Yeah. She truly is. She is the biggest blessing. Something that kind of has me on the fence of whether or not I go kind of full blown more conservative or moderate is just seeing how welfare has really destroyed the family unit. I see that, we're starting to save a lot of money. Do you think that some of that money should go back to maybe reforming the way that welfare is done to help poor families who do want to kind of pursue that American dream?
Great question. The number one objective of any social welfare program should be, how do we keep the family together and put dads back in the family? Yes. That is the number one priority. Every number gets better for every community if dads are around. Every number gets worse when dads are not around. Unfortunately, in the Black community, dads are the most absent of any community. About 2/3 of all Black youth will be raised without a stable father around. And I know it's crazy, right? To have a father figure is a silent way of forming a child to be a mature citizen. And unfortunately, as we've removed dads from families, government has come in and has taken the place.
Charlie brought that same passion to his belief in the future of young conservatives.
Those of us that are conservatives, we have an uplifting message for America, one that is hopeful, one of family formation, one of church attendance going up, one of business ownership, of entrepreneurship. And think about the message of the Democrats. They say your country is racist, your past is terrible, your entire nation is irrelevant and should not really exist in its current form. They say you might die of climate change and that systemic racism is everywhere. What a depressing worldview, and the impact has been culturally transformational. The movement is ascendant and growing, and everybody in this audience, I hope you understand, we are seeing the greatest generational shift since Woodstock. We are seeing a generation that was supposed to be liberal, supposed to be progressive, becoming increasingly conservative, and that is, for the Democrats, an existential dilemma for them and their political future.
And finally, Charlie let us all know what he hoped would be his legacy.
How would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith.
When Charlie spoke of faith, when he spoke of the Bible, when he spoke of the founding principles of the United States of America, it flowed out of him effortlessly. Charlie may not have had a college degree, but he was full of more wisdom than anyone else today doing what we do. And now we can all hope to do what was done by Charlie. Thank you for joining us today. We will continue to honor and remember the incredible life and legacy of our friend, Charlie Kirk. Now, it is time for the 5.
So
that was a beautiful tribute.
It's took the social medias by absolute storm, and we have a lot of people that that were impacted by him being alive, and a lot of people impacted by him in his passing. And do you guys have any thoughts about Charlie Kirk at all? If you just not somebody, if it's you never really listened to him, didn't really know who he was, or whatever the case.
No,
I
not for
say
me.
I say Charlie Kirk around. I'm aware he's from Arlington Heights. Um, I'd say this.
Mute your mic, bro. Mute your mic, Spaces. Go ahead, Jerry.
I say that I can't say I'm a particular. I mean, he sometimes he has some good points, about certain things that I was interested in, but he was definitely no fan of black people. You know what I mean? I'm not finna beat around the bush. Uh he didn't, has he said anything explicitly racist? Um no, but he's definitely he definitely said a lot of things to let me know that he felt black people were inferior, right? I've seen countless videos of him saying it. Uh I don't believe because a person has a different political view or maybe a different way of life or whatever that they should be killed for it. Um, with that being said, I'm not really saddened, right? I'm just more so indifferent. And that's what I think about it. It's unfortunate.
Maul, what you got?
Nothing really. I don't got because really I don't got nothing.
My thoughts about it is it's always unfortunate when somebody who is not professing violence against somebody dies in a violent way. I think it's unfortunate that now his excuse me, his 1-year-old son and his 3-year-old daughter. I believe that's what it was. Yeah, 3-year-old daughter and 1-year-old son, or maybe vice versa. They have to grow up without a father now, and I was thinking about that too. It was like they probably won't recognize it at this point, but when they get to a point where they're 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, and and sometimes things just hit you. Like if you have a great idea, it hits you. If you realize you left your keys, it hits you. One of these days they're gonna realize, like, oh man, my dad was shot and killed in front of me. And one of the things that has been going on is, and a lot of people have been losing their jobs because of it. People are celebrating. That's the crazy part to me. I don't under if somebody was a violent person and they leave the earth in a violent way, they were violent against other people, then okay, cool. Not cool, but obviously death is always a bad thing. But all he did was talk. All he did was talk. He talked to people that were his age. He talked to people that were college kids. He just has conversations with people, and it's just wild to me the amount of people that I've seen, the amount of responses that I've seen where people were saying some really, really disgusting stuff, man. It's one thing for somebody to say good riddance or something like that, but people just vitriolic, just evil comments, bro. Talking about God is down one, the devil is up one. It's like I seen a picture where it was a short video where it was a setup. It was like 4 rows of phones. It was like 8 on this row, 7 and 5 and 4 on this row, and the caption of the video said, me liking all of these comments celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. That is crazy. That's why I have under my name Wild Times We're Living In, because what did he possibly do? He himself possibly do? Because he didn't pass any legislation that I know of.
No, he wasn't a political figure.
What did he do to make people celebrate his death?
Well, when you're a very outspoken person like he was, you still got to be mindful of what you say, right? Because it will be, you never know who you can offend. And sometimes in arguing your beliefs, you may offend the wrong person. And it seems like that it may have happened, without putting any conspiracy, because I got my own conspiracy theories behind this, but without any conspiracy theories, Charlie Kirk said himself, which is ironic, it didn't age too well. He said that it didn't age too well for Charlie Kirk, but Charlie Kirk said, you know what? A couple gun deaths or a few gun deaths in the United States, because they were asking him how do we curtail this violence? Da, da, da. He said a couple gun deaths, basically is okay. Like, we're gonna have to have a couple gun deaths in order to keep our amendments or whatever. And it's crazy that he ended up dying like that. He ended up dying by the gun. If you're saying it's okay that a few people may die, so that's a video that I saw. And it's crazy that essentially, to me, it looked like his own people took him out. However you may categorize your own people, it looked like his own people took him out. And it was a situation that they start closing down HBCUs because there were attacks on HBCUs after somebody killed him who clearly wasn't Black.
OG asked where his kids at the Utah event. Yeah, his wife and kids were there. If I'm not, I haven't been able to confirm if they were specifically in the same vicinity as the whole thing that happened, like they were in the audience, or if they might have been inside somewhere.
They're probably inside though, because I don't think he probably wanted his kids to hear the back and forth going. And I think they probably was in a booth or somewhere, probably looking down or something like that. But I don't think they were actually at like outside at the event. I don't think that though. I do got one thing though. You know what I was thinking about doing this whole thing, because I really didn't know. Like I've knew of him. I've seen a couple videos, but he wasn't in my algorithm. Like period. I didn't know. I've seen him on a couple debate things and a couple bait reels and stuff like that, but I didn't follow him at all. I didn't even know what. Like I'm like, damn, they shot him. I'm like, kind of like for what? Like I was really like in awe. Like what the fuck? What happened? So I was trying to find out what happened or whatnot like that, right? But one thing I was thinking about doing this whole thing is, I'm not agreeing that the way people feel about him or what they were saying is right, but ain't you allowed to feel how you want to feel?
Yeah. So
I can't tell them, I can't tell you that's not how you feel or that's not right for you to do. Is it wrong in my moral thing? Hell yeah, I'm not celebrating nobody's death. I don't think, like Jerry Day said, I don't think just because you had a couple of opinions, and even if you don't like us, he didn't do no violence towards us or nothing like that. Now, some of the things he might not said, I might not agree with him, and I might thought they was disrespectful and all that, but I don't think he should have been killed for it. But at the same time, I can't tell nobody how they should feel about that situation or how they should say. That's going to be up with you and God. God going to run the tape back on you or what you said out loud or what you type nowadays. So for me or for anybody to tell people that they're wilding about what they said, probably in your moral compass and your moral judgment, because we all morally different, yeah, they probably is wild. But probably in their moral compass and they justify it.
Well, the reason why I I would say I disagree with you, but I do give a little bit of pushback because if any one of these people that were celebrating his death, if that happened to anybody close to them, they wouldn't want people celebrating.
But that's still, but I'm talking about how I look at it though. I can't tell them still how to feel, even if they said that about somebody that I love or one of us that passed or something like that, and they talking crazy. I wouldn't like that. But that's still their mark. That's the way they was grew up, and that's the way they was raised morally. I can't tell nobody and make nobody switch how they morally wrong. I know morally that's wrong in my eye. Like Jerry, they say, just because you got morals and your morals say that that's not cool, that's not other people's morals saying that that's not cool. That's just your morals saying it's not cool.
I don't, you know, there are some baseline things that we can make a general sentiment on that are wrong. In one person's mind, it might be in our moral code, it is not okay to steal. But in one person's code, it is okay to steal as long as it's providing for your family or something like that. Overall, objectively, stealing is wrong. Celebrating someone's death who just had a different opinion from you, celebrating it, that's wrong.
But that's what you say, and that's what I say. But that's might not how they feel or they whatever. I can't tell nobody how to feel, bro.
But that's what I'm saying though. It's if something happened to any one of these people's somebody close to any one of these people, they wouldn't be saying what you're saying right now. They would be saying what I'm saying. They would be saying it's not right to celebrate somebody's death.
And you're 100% right. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I don't think you should be celebrating nobody's death neither. But I'm just saying that's just how they feel. That's how they was grew up. That's how this internet got people. Internet got people just going crazy and just doing shit that you shouldn't be doing morally and just all that. That's what this internet done to people. But I'm just saying, from my point of view, I'm not celebrating nobody's death because I know that shit ain't nothing to play with because you don't come back from that. And I told y'all a long time ago, this internet shit is crazy, weird, wild, all that, and rolled up in one. As many people as it helped save, it's done stuff for 100,000 to 200,000 to 200 million, it has fucked up. And that's one of the fucked up things about this internet thing of what you're talking about. Because sometimes, like a lot of people say, even if you don't like them and you ain't had nothing good to say about them, you don't have to say shit. You don't have to say nothing at all. But if you do want to say something, just know when God run the tape about what you said, you're going to have to answer to that. Right. Too as well.
And it's ultimately, and I'm not necessarily trying to control what people say, but I'm in agreement 100% with what you said. Like there are some people that are sympathetic in the fact that he got shot. There are some people that are indifferent. It's like, I don't know anything about him, or it's not affecting me in the way that I have any feelings one way or the other towards it. But then there's the people that are celebrating. OG said his numbers on Black fatherhood and their involvement in their children's lives are not factual. And he said good riddance is not a sympathetic or empathetic response either.
I was on one of those things too. I was looking at that. I wanted to look it up, but I never got a chance to it because I don't think that was factual either when he said the Black fathers wasn't in the household, and that's the number one thing. And that's a lot of things that I had a problem with just a couple of those things right there where he said about those type of things. That's one of the things that Jerry Day was saying or whatnot. Like some of the things he said, like you say, nigga, you say what you want to say. That's on you and what you got to do. Just like if we come on here and we say something people don't like, I don't think we should be shot for it or anything like that at all. It's just that's our opinion. That's just the way we're thinking. And like I always say, I don't have a problem with us segregating and us doing this and not fucking with each other. I'm just on the verge of just don't try to hurt nobody. Say whatever the fuck you want to say, but just as long as you don't hurt me and I'm not trying to hurt you, I think everything will be okay. That's the only thing I have a problem with.
Just to add, like even with the young lady with the baby, asking about the welfare system. Nobody asked him about Black fathers. What Black, what I'm saying? To me, sometimes with Charlie Kirk, he was always trying to sneak this on Black people. He said if you got on a plane and you seen a Black pilot, he would question whether you basically there by DEI.
That's true.
That's bro.
That's what he said.
When Black people are a lot of times when Black people are in real high positions, they are the best candidates bar none because they had to jump through so many loops. I'm not talking about motherfucker being a cashier. I'm talking about like some real shit.
Cashier is crazy.
Right. You know, and to say stuff like that is really um this is what gives me the indifference. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's not whether or not I want, you know what I'm saying? Because I know how some people like they loved him going in on the trans people or the gays or whatever. Like, but and some of that I agree with. But it's always interesting when we talk about when white people talk about black issues or you know things that affect black people to other white people. Like why we, you know, again, I'll just bring it back to what I was talking about the lady. She wasn't asking about black fathers. She's just talking in general. Just leave it in general.
Yeah, I listen to him a lot, and because I just like the fact that how his style of debating and having and you know having information about certain things, and
A lot of that shit was wrong.
huh?
A lot of that shit was wrong, and they're not right. I always look. Okay, hold on. Just let me say this, and I'm gonna let you finish. I want to say this, and this is just not about him. This is not about him. This is not about him. This is just about everybody in general. When they debating each other, and when they be debating, and you listen to them debate, for an everyday show, small like me, you, or Jay, every day they run circles around us. They make us look stupid. But somebody's that's on the equal playing field or a little bit above them, they have no rebuttal. All they should be, because that's the person that's been studying this stuff with you. They don't sound as educated as they do. I've learned that over the course of like the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, he don't sound like that when he was talking about him. When he was talking to him, he don't sound like that when he was talking to him, and vice versa, and vice versa. And I'm not particularly talking about Christian Kirk. I'm just talking about everybody who we debating. That's Democrat or that's Republican. That's right or left. When they talk to people that's on the same playing field and just as smart as they is and went to the same, almost like the same education, they don't sound as smart no more. They don't sound as factual. They don't sound as everything that they thought they was no more. I just had to get that out for this. Just step my man. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I won't interrupt no more. Go ahead, though.
No, I just think, you know, when it comes to the whole, a lot of people, a lot of black people in particular, are using what he said, even if the numbers were they weren't right or they were misconstrued, whatever the case. Black people don't even pay attention to politics.
That's not true.
Absolute majority.
Okay, what's the numbers?
I mean, 92% of. Okay, because people are voting booths are closed down because of lack of attendance, but
then that means most people that means most people aren't paying attention to politics, not just black people.
Let's see.
If we say, well, like, hey, black people don't pay attention to politics, all the polling booths is closing down. It's not just because of black people. Seems like a lot of people aren't paying attention to politics. That becomes half truths.
Let's see. OG said it's not the internet, it's the people on the internet. He will spout racist tropes and hide behind claiming his Christianity. Let's see. How do I? That's going to require some research, but let's see.
It's okay.
On the surface,
maybe next time.
No, because I mean, it's easy to just like we were saying earlier in the conversation, it's easy to just look up something and find the answer you want without context, right? So in 2024, the presidential election, 59.6% of eligible Black Americans voted, and the turnout declined by 3 percentage points compared to 2020. So it's easy to look at this and say, well, Yeah, 60%. Let's just say solid 60% of black people pay attention to politics. But do they?
There's a difference. There's a difference between participation and paying attention, though.
I was just gonna say the same thing when you got through talking. I promise you I will. It is. It's a big difference because even though we don't probably vote anything, that don't mean we watch everything on politics on TV. We probably just like, bro, y'all full of shit. I'm not voting for that, but I still want to pay attention to know what I should and should not be doing.
What other way could we measure if someone is paying attention to?
We will never know. You would never know. You would never know. So that's why the statement that you made, you can't really say that because you would never know. It don't matter if you talk about the numbers of voting or not. You would never really know the real answer to that question.
I know plenty of people. I've talked to plenty of people that may not vote, but they are very politically aware of what's going on. And I'm talking about just not even national. I mean, these people are geopolitical, where they know things that's going on internationally. So you just can't you can't just break it down and say, well, this amount of people came out to go vote to poll, because voting is within your right, but you don't have to do it either.
And just like you've talked to geopolitical people that don't vote, I've talked to people on a regular. I've gotten to the point where I've just decided to not. How do I say this? The absolute majority of people that I try to have a political conversation about, they don't even know what's going on. And I'm talking to black people specifically. So was it an all-encompassing, generalizing statement for the? Yeah, it was.
Look, real quick, we'll look up the white percentage rates of people going out to vote and Hispanic percentage rates. Those are the three largest groups. And definitely look up, you know what? And just for kicks and giggles, let's look up Asians too. Because from what I hear, they vote the least. Matter of fact, shit, probably look up Asians first. Be humble. Say, oh, let's say, go ahead.
Is that I typed in the question you were trying to ask, right?
Yeah. So 70% of non-Hispanic white citizens turn out 2024. Okay. Now put in Hispanic just real quick, and then Asian.
There's no definitive percentage for Hispanic voter turnout in 2024 election, as the final data from the U.S. Census Bureau is not yet available. However, multiple sources provide key statistics on voter behavior.
Okay, cool. Let's do Asian.
Oops. Um, 58 presidential election in 2024. 58% of eligible Asian American citizens voted.
And then they also see it says later higher than the Latino, which is 51%. Okay. Slightly lower than the black voters, 65%. Okay, seems like blacks are on par.
I mean, I'm talking about.
Thought we were using voting.
Well, this part of the conversation came from when I said black people don't pay attention to what I say. Don't pay attention to politics.
Yeah.
Most people are blind voters.
Right, but you brought up
vote blue no matter who.
But you pulled up, you're the one who pulled up the percentage rates and said, well, how else are we supposed to judge? And then the numbers isn't too far off from the white people. So to me, either most people are blind voters. Most people are. So we can't use. That means to me we can't use numbers from nobody. Either the numbers are close or we can't use numbers from nobody.
I was speaking from my specific experience when trying to have these conversations, and no, most
So
people
it's
didn't.
so
Most
it's
people,
anecdotal.
especially the black people that have all this vitriol against them, and I'm not talking about you in particular, but they didn't even know who he was before he died. People are catching word of mouth that he has this sort of goal or sneak this in towards black people. They're finding it out from other people. I've
But
seen a
he
whole bunch of
but he
people
did. But
talk
his
about this
video
and
that he
get
did
clips
though,
about what it is
regardless.
that he's saying. They'll listen to 20 seconds of 8-minute long conversation with a particular person and say, yeah, he didn't like black people.
He wouldn't come out. He's not going to come out and say I don't like black people. Again, that's why I said he never said anything directly racist. However, his rhetoric definitely suggests that black people were inferior. Definitely did. You said it many of times. He's been around for a minute. Dude from Illinois. He's been around for Charlie Kirk's been around for like 10 years that I know.
Right, but most of these people who are making these videos and all this and showing all this stuff didn't even know who he was at all.
But the video is not. But there's video out there, whether they know him or not. There's video out there suggests that he was suggesting that black people were inferior. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I've watched live streams. Watch live streams of people putting together. If people can go through our stuff, our videos,
Mm-hmm.
and if they have a particular goal that they're trying to put together or a specific thing that they're trying to say, they can take bits and pieces of any of our conversations and take whatever narrative they want to have with it.
Absolutely.
And that's what's happening.
But I'm not.
Videos.
But we're not on a stage like that. To what I'm saying. And even if they did, which is cool, all I'm saying is he's at lectures. He's on TV. He's in the media. You know what I mean? And he's having these discussions, and he said certain things. So they're able to pull it up, and yeah, we can point to that and say, yeah, he definitely had this ideology as if black people were more inferior. Then and which is cool if that's his thought. But ultimately, black people were not the people that killed him. So you know what I'm saying? That's what I look at it. Ultimately, as much whatever issues he may have had with black people, you know what I mean? Ultimately, he may have had with George Floyd because he was a person against George Floyd as well, and everybody else that normally died, all the black people that normally died. He always had something to say. You know what I mean?
About not just black people.
I'm talking about the black people that I'm specifically talking about. Black people that died doing, the George Floyds and the whoever else. You know what I mean? Like the popular people that died. He always said basically like, oh, it was justified. And he would always justify that. Right? So this is what I'm saying. Like for me, I call it spade a spade. If you're justifying that, this is how you get people to become indifferent. However, the perpetrators that killed you were actually part of you all. You know what I'm saying? Like white. So as much gun violence as you can sit up here and talk about how black people kill each other, you were ultimately killed by your own people. And that's the point.
Would be
ultimately you can say they can say as much as you want to about what black people are doing. You were ultimately killed by your own.
So what if he was killed by a black person?
It's not a what if. He was ultimately killed by.
People say
I'm not.
That's the thing. Like,
I'm saying it. I'm saying it because it's just because black people are saying or how the black people are reacting. Because you got plenty of white people reacting the same way, right? You got plenty of white people online reacting, saying good riddance, blah blah blah, X, Y, and Z. Right, so they're happy Charlie Kirk died too. But as much focus that he did a lot put on black people when nobody asked him. Or you know what I'm saying, or somehow it curtails into what black fathers are doing, right? You are ultimately killed by white people.
I don't understand why people point that out. Like, okay,
I'm not people. I pointed it out. I
no,
mean,
everybody's pointed out. You're not the only person that's saying that.
because that's important. Because you sit up and talk about what black people are doing, right? Black people consistently kill each other. You
Does that
got
make
ultimately. I'm not saying it's right. Never said it was. If that was going to be your question, what I
no?
said was
If
your
I can finish
ultimate.
my statement, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say,
Okay.
does him being killed by a white person make anything about what he would say when he had these conversations about black people committing certain acts of violence against other black people any less true?
No, what it means is focus on your community and what you got going on. That's what it means. Because you're not coming to black university speaking. So
He,
go. No, I'm
what?
saying in general. No, I know he has. What I'm saying in general, right? So when he got shot, at the moment he got shot, what were they asking him at the moment he got shot?
I don't
Because I know
remember.
you follow this.
I think it was something like a trans question, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they were asking him about
Mass shootings.
mass shootings, right? And then he turned it into gangs. Well, you know what I'm saying? We also call them gangs. So when I hear gangs and gang violence, to me that's code word for black, because people have certain trigger words that they use. So when I hear that, we count, and they were talking about gun violence, and then he just happened to get shot. Again, I'm a person. I'm not celebrating it. I'm indifferent to it, right? But if everything turns black with, you know what I'm saying, these guys that's really right leaning, and you happen to get killed by your own, that's something to think about. That's all I'm saying. That's something to think about. You got killed by your own talking about, you know what I'm saying, your rhetoric. Look, I'm not here to convince. You know what I mean? This is what I think. I'm not here to convince. It just is what it is.
But though, would that be the same? Like they'll say that was black on black crime for us. Would that be white on white crime for them?
Absolutely. Look, Malcolm X got killed by his own people, right? So, you know what I mean? Malcolm X got killed by his own people. So it's not like it's uncommon, right? He was ruffling some feathers that people didn't like. And the Nation of Islam, in general, was a peaceful group of people. He got killed by somebody in his own crew. I mean, granted, they set it up. It was COINTELPRO.
But
go ahead, Ma.
No, I just wanted to ask the question about the white on, because they always say the black on black crime, but white people kill white people at an alarming rate too. But we don't have that conversation. We never had that conversation. It's not even an afterthought or anything, though, and that's crazy. That's really, really crazy.
So OG said he was about racist tropes and hide behind claiming it's Christianity. You send me clips of stuff all the time on IG. You don't even listen to whole conversations, OG. Be Humble says Spaces. How many whites do you talk to? Anyone that I can that I feel like I can have a conversation with. Let's see. You should find more people to interact with. I interact with. You don't know my circle, bro. I have a very wide circle. Most Republicans are blind voters. I don't disagree. I don't.
You say what you say? What you just read? I heard you say.
Be Humble said most Republicans are blind voters.
Oh, I don't know nothing about none of that shit.
OG said Spaces. I don't understand what that question is. Spaces is Anton Daniels politically active, very, very, very politically active. General in like national politics and local politics in Detroit. So what your point is irrelevant? I don't know what point you're talking about, but my point is always relevant. Not yours isn't. You just like to be contrarian to me on purpose. but it's cool. I like it. OG said, I think he's talking about Charlie Kirk wasn't a politician, but he talked politics. So yes, and yes. Blind meaning no research. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Be Humble said, if all you talk negative on blacks and never call out any other, there is a problem. He talked about. Did you listen to him? He talked about all kinds of stuff. He talked about all kinds of stuff. He talked about trans. He talked about war. He talked about politics. What are you talking about?
Let me ask you something, Spencer. Do you talk? Let me ask you this. Do you talk about what goes on in the white community? Like just in general, like you having a conversation with other blacks about what's going on in the white community?
Sometimes.
You do? Like what?
Whatever the subject is at hand.
Well, give me an example. Like just something random. Like what's going on in the white community?
I talk to white people about that white.
No, not white people. I'm talking about. Do you talk to black people, other black people, about what white people are doing?
Yeah, I talk to black people about the white city that in Alabama that they're putting together. Like,
yeah, but that's more so a segregation thing. I'm talking about just in general, like, hey, white people are, you know what I'm saying, as far as like father issues or whatever. Do you talk like that? You know what I mean? I feel like the white community that white people are putting together, that's almost, how do you feel about them doing that? Versus like, okay, would you talk to black people about white people's suicide, you know, about their suicide issues? Would you talk to them about that?
If the conversation goes in that direction, or if it's something that I think I want to talk about, sure.
Right. So how often do you do that?
I don't have a count. Like I don't know.
I mean, obviously, I'm not saying you have a count, but what I'm saying, what I'm basically getting to, is that I don't understand why white people consistently talk about what black people are doing to other white people.
Why can't they? It's the conversation. I don't understand why people say stuff like that. Black people only talk to black people about black stuff. White people talk to white people about
because
white stuff.
it's not affecting you. If you're saying what black people should be doing to other white people, how is that like? It's just obviously, yeah, it's this conversation, but what's the point?
Because people can say whatever they want to say, right?
I know you can, but what's the point?
You have a conversation. Why does it?
But what's the point? What are we
getting at? They're supposed to be looking to try to change something about it. People talk about stuff all the time. It's just conversation.
I understand that, but that type of stuff is making clearly it makes news, it makes headlines. You know what I mean? So therefore, if you're talking to a group of white kids about what black people are doing, like for what?
Because people can talk.
I know that. I'm not slow. We're talking.
That's what I'm saying. Like you said, for what? Well, like, what is an acceptable answer to that question that you're asking? Like,
because
what kind of answer are you looking for?
I'm not looking for. What I'm looking for is for you to act. Well, not you, but if you're going to do something, have a goal in mind. That's what I'm talking about. What's the goal? What's the end goal? Just to sit up and talk about what black people are doing? And I say that even when black people are talking. What's the end goal behind what we're talking about? Otherwise, you're just fucking talking.
Okay, that happens all of the time.
Okay, well,
with everybody.
But no, because you just said you don't often do that with white. You don't have a conversation with other black people often talking about what white people doing.
Yeah, I
don't talk to black people. So you said you don't often do that.
I don't have the conversations often, but I do. You said, do I? And I said, I don't have a specific amount is what I said. And Be Humble said, I only talk about one. I only mention one topic because he asked, what is something?
Okay, give me something else. Give me something else.
The absolute, who listens to, I say this to all kinds of people. The absolute majority of people who listen to country music are often unalive themselves. And who often listens to country music? Do I have to have a particular goal in having that fact? No, I don't. It's just a fact that I read and I was just regurgitating, and I said it to black people. What's the point? I don't get this.
So are we saying the point of conversation is not to have a point? The point of conversation is just to talk?
That's what most conversation doesn't have a particular goal in the end.
And that's the problem.
Did you know what's going on? Did you know that this happened? It's like,
well, if you ask a person, did you know that this was going on?
As well.
If you ask a person, did you know this was going on? That's information that you're trying to, you're trying to keep a person informed. Just to say that black people, black people need to do this, but you're talking to another white person, that makes no fucking sense.
So
that's
the black people did?
Absolutely. Why not?
They do. A lot of people do. A lot of white people say a lot of stuff, and then that has a whole that can go one way or the other with that happening. But it happens. It happens.
How often is somebody of Charlie Kirk's statue is saying what black people should be doing to other black people?
He goes to universities and talks to the HBCUs and talks to the students there.
Thus, I understand that. What I'm also saying is it becomes a conversation, right? So if you're in Utah, right, you're having these conversations. If you had a conversation at an HBCU, what black people are doing, cool. The fuck you doing in Utah talking about what black people should be doing or wherever else that there ain't really no black people there?
If
you direct it to the audience that you're looking at, that makes no sense to me. Why would I'm in fucking Vermont talking about what black people should be doing at the University of Vermont. The fuck?
How did he get on that subject? And that's a legitimate question because I've watched a lot of his videos when he would be at the college, and the person that comes up to the mic is a white person, and they ask him a question about black people, and he responds to it. So what he's supposed to say? I'm not black. I can't talk about that.
No, you can definitely move past the question though. I'm not gonna talk about that right now. You can definitely do that because also people are put in place. To me, that doesn't make sense. Like people are put in place also. Well, I guess that could be another discussion for another day. But all I'm saying is that it doesn't, personally to me, it doesn't make sense that we're having a conversation about people that's not really there or around for what? And that's my whole thing again about not just Charlie Kirk, but a lot of those guys on the left, on the right. A lot of the guys on the right, they talk like that. It's like what black people should be doing. What black people should be doing. And I'm interesting.
All right, cool. You guys got any closing thoughts? Because we're supposed to do 30 minutes over.
No, that's it.
No, I'm good. That's it.